2 days ago, we spent the day kind of talking about all the different types of ways in which we can get paid. So what were some of the ones that we could get paid? Hourly.
Royalty contract.
Royalty, contract, salary, piecework,
Royalty and hourly wage
and tip. Yeah. Commission. There it is. You guys nailed it. All right. So today our focus to begin with is on salaries and contracts. Okay. And salaries and contracts work that they are a binding agreement in which you have all the details laid out in front of you. So that should take into account your overtime. It should take into account any excess time that you've worked. That includes your holiday time as well. Okay. So examples that they have, first of all, they just start you off with 3% of 40,000. Okay. So let's start with that, just because it's on our sheet. Make sure we've got it done right. How do I change 3%, Michael, to a decimal?
0.03.
How about 3?
I mean 0.
Okay, so 0.03, you got that part right. Times 40,000 works out to 1,200? Okay, perfect. So there's step 1. And then I have 0.055, and I multiply that by 78,525. And what does that work out to?
1,318.875.
875?
So 888.
80, that's right. Because we have to do money, we have to go to the second decimal place, right? The hundreds or cents value. Okay, fantastic. So, Nellie is the head chef at a restaurant. Her annual salary is $56,000. How much does Nellie earn each month? And how do we, if there are 12 months in a year? Okay, so she earns $56,000 for the year. So how do I find out how much she earns per month?
Divided by 12.
That's pretty straightforward, right? Divide by 12, so what does she earn per month?
4,666.6 repeating.
Okay, so we'll go 0.67, right? Because of the
Rounding up.
rounding up. That's right. Good.
I just put a line.
Okay, but we can't put a line because you're talking money,
Yeah.
right? So money you just automatically round off, the same way they do now without pennies. Okay, without pennies now they round everything up or down to the nearest 5 cents, right? Okay, so how much does Nellie earn in a week? Well, they give you 52 weeks, but eventually you should probably know that. So we have 56,000 divided by 52 weeks. And what does that work out to?
$1,076.93.
Does that look right?
Yeah.
Something like that? Awesome. Okay. Pretty easy so far, right? Like I said, the majority of this math is going to be fairly straightforward for you. I don't think you're going to have any issues just yet. And the best part is that this just gets you accustomed to how you're going to work in this class. All right, so this is a good start for you. All right, Sarah designs houses. She is paid by contract from each builder. This year she earned $25,000, $15,200, $19,750, and $31,800 on 4 contracts. What was her gross income? All right, first things first. Do you know what that means?
Like all together.
Income before the deductions.
Okay, that's probably the best way to say it.
Deduction.
Okay? Income before deductions. Okay? Put your hand up when you have the answer to the question. What is it that represents? What do we get deducted off of our
Taxes.
what types of taxes?
Like GST and PSC.
Not necessarily.
Or no, that's for buying stuff.
That's for buying stuff. Harley?
Taxes on our house and the vehicles.
Okay, but would that affect my gross income? Because we're talking specifically about how much you make. Anyone got a job here where they get a pay stub? Not yet? Is it too young? Good, you're lucky. You don't remember? Okay. So, types of things that get deducted. This is new to you, so I understand that. Types of things that get income tax. You guys hear that?
Oh, yes.
Income tax. Basically, the government says, here, I'll take 40% of whatever you earn.
And can't you like
Pretty
claim
much.
that back sometimes?
Okay, so yeah, that's a whole different story. But yes, at some point you can claim some of it back. They take too much off of you, so they got to give you back some. All right, so income tax is one thing. Canadian pension plan. All right, that's another thing. So you pay into your pension plan. Well, it means nothing to you. You guys are 15 years old, but somebody that's even older than me, it would make a big difference. That's their Canadian pension plan. That's what you get when you're 65. You get money from the government, but you've been paying into it your whole life. Okay? So those are a couple of the types of deductions that are made right away off of your pay stub. Okay? When I deduct them, I take home this, and this is called my net income. So if you want to make a note of that, that is your take home pay. So your net income is your take home pay. So if I make $2,000 in a month and all my deductions come off, and it might be $1,400 is what I get to take home. Okay? Now there's a whole pile of other things. Like for me, for instance, I'm in a union. Okay? A union. So I get union dues taken off. I get Blue Cross taken off. That means that my health care is taken off of my deductions as well. All right? So there are a pile of things that you can have deducted off of your checks. But for you guys, when you start working, basically you'll get, I don't even know if they take your income tax off. If they do, you get it right back in its entirety until you're 18. And then you got to start paying the government money for it. Okay? So, to calculate somebody's gross income, that's exactly what they are told that they make. So she made $25,000, $15,200, $19,750, $31,800. How much did she make total? What was her gross income?
91,550. 750.
This is 7 here? That's it there? Yeah. Okay. Beauty. So it says, what is Sarah's gross income? Well, Sarah's gross income is $91,750. Okay. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I see in here that we're going to get to now, well, let's just get to it and then I'll explain it a bit. As if, is a project manager for a publishing company. His yearly salary is $65,000. This year he will also get a bonus that is 2% of his salary. What is Azif's gross income? All right. So we want to find out how much he makes total. So we know he makes $65,000, correct?
Yep. Yep.
All right. So now I want to find out, he gets a bonus paid to him. 2% of that $65,000. So are we going to add that on to the $65,000 or take it away?
Add it on.
Add it on because it's a bonus. That means thanks for doing good work, you get a bonus. Don't go into teaching if you want bonuses. There's none of that in this profession. Okay? But sales, all right? Those are types of things that you get. Managerial positions, you'll get bonuses for that. Okay? So how do I show 65%? How do I show 2% of 65,000?
0.2. 0.02.
Times it by 0.02, and what does that work out to?
1,300.
1,300. Okay. And then I add that on, so I should get 66,300 as his total take home, or its total gross pay. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is the total percentage of the salary Azif earns, including his bonus? This is a neat thing. I like this. I'm going to set that there. Okay. So what we did here is we took 2% of the 65,000 and we added it on. There is another way in which we can do this. All right? And when you're calculating taxes when you go to buy something at a store, there's a better way of doing it than timesing by 0.02 and adding it on. So this is what that next part of that question is asking you. How much or what percent did he actually take home for his salary, his gross income? What was the total percentage?
102.
102%, right? How would you write 102% as a decimal?
1.002.
1.02. So if I take 65,000, right, and I multiply it by 102% as a decimal, I'm going to end up with $66,300. I like this method. When you can understand that to get an add-on, you know that you're getting 100% of the value plus 2 more percent. That's 1.02. Yes, sir.
More method is, I know more method, which is 1% of 65,650 times that by 2 gets 2%.
So
And
to
you
do
get
it without using a calculator?
Yeah.
I like it. That's great. Okay, so changing that to 1%, because he can easily do 1% of 600 or 65,000, which works out to 650, right? Basically, you're moving the decimal 2 spots. So there's 650. Times that by 2, you would end up with 1,300, but then you'd have to add it on, and you would get that. That's okay. I like it.
That's what we were taught last year.
That's what you were taught last year?
Well, that's how I kind of did it.
Yeah. Nice, nice, and that's great mental math skills. All right, if you didn't have a calculator, that's how you do it. You gotta make things easier. That's one way to make it easier. That's great work. I like it. Okay. I'm just gonna flip over now. I want you to open up to page 10, which is 1.3. Okay, calculating income this time. So the first one was contracts and salaries. Now we're doing wages, okay, by an hourly wage. First things first, you take your rate of pay, so $8.50 per hour, and I multiply it by the number of hours I work. In this case, 40 hours. So what's 8.5 times 40?
340.
$340. Okay, excellent. Okay, number 2. Riggs, 10.25 times 28. What do you got back there?
287.
Do we agree with Riggs?
Yeah. Yes.
Good job, Riggs. Okay. Dylan, 25 times 975. 243.75. Do we agree?
Mm-hmm.
Great job. Great job. Okay. Last one, 37 and a half times 16. What?
600.
600. 0. Good job. Okay, what do you notice on the board? When I write out my money, what do I make sure to do every single time? What are the 2 things? Money sign and
The .00.
0.00. I have to do dollars and cents. I have to have those in there. And I need my dollar sign too. Okay? We doing okay so far?
Yep.
I'm moving quickly. I feel like this is maybe easy for most of you. What was Rochelle's gross income for the week? 35 hours by, Rochelle earns $12.45 per hour as a cashier at a grocery store. Last week she earned 35 hours. So 35 hours. What was her wage?
$12.45.
$12.45 per hour. And so therefore her gross income was?
432.25.
Well done. 432.25. So far so good? You okay? Now, as I read on, I'm going to quickly go through. This is a new word for me even. Look in the margin there. Shift premium. an additional amount of money for working outside of regular workday hours or on weekends. What did I call that yesterday?
Overtime.
Time and double.
Overtime. Overtime pay. Denzel works at a tire manufacturing plant and earns $10.20 an hour. $10.20 per hour. When he works the evening or night shift, he earns shift premium, which is $1.15 per hour extra. Last month he worked 80 hours on day shift, 40 hours on evening, and 40 hours on night. What was his gross income for the month? All right, I love this question. This is basically as tough as a question as you can get because it breaks it up into parts. Okay? So if he works evening or night shift, what changes for him?
He
It's
gets
a dollar.
$1.50 more
Then the,
than the day shift,
which was
10 to 20.
awesome work. Okay, so first things first, let's do the day shift. So let's do day. So then $10.20 per hour times, how many hours did he work on the day shift?
80.
80 hours. Okay, so let's do the day shift first. 1020 by 80, what did he make?
816.
816.
$816. Perfect. Okay, evening shift. He makes 1020 plus $1.15. So how much does he actually make? An hour. You have Charlie? $11.35. $11.35 per hour times, how many hours did he work evenings?
Evening or night shift, so
80. Yeah, 40 on the evening. We can combine this, can't we? Because the rate is the same, so this is evening and night. So we can combine those if we wanted to. And we just put 80 in here. That guy doesn't sleep. It's a lot of hours in a week. Okay, so 1135 times 80 would give us what?
$908.
$908 more. So how much did he make in a week?
Wasn't it a month?
Oh, that's 1 week.
No, that
Was it?
says a month. Says a month.
Well, 80 hours. Last month he worked. Sorry, you're right. Last month. That's why. I thought the hours were a little bit skewed. So he worked 80 hours on a day shift, 40 hours on an evening, and 40 hours on nights. What was his gross income for the month? We got
$1,724.
$1,724. Are we all right?
Yeah.
Questions about that guy? Okay, I do want to show you something before, so this isn't on your sheets. It's not on your sheets, okay? Everybody okay with this first?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it was 7. Wait, what was it? Never mind.
You're okay?
Not that.
Okay. All right. Now, I did mention this yesterday, and that is if they can give this question a different way. Instead of giving you the amount of money he makes extra, they can say he makes time and a half or double time. So let's say he worked, let's say I have somebody that worked, he gets paid $15.25 an hour. Okay? Works 40 hours in a week at regular pay. So 40 hours regular and 15 hours at OT pay. And his OT pay is 1.5. Okay? So here's the question. How much does he make gross income? So what do we need to find first? What's the easiest part that we want to find first here? Go ahead.
How much he makes regular in
Okay.
40 hours.
All right, let's start with that. So 1525 by 40, and how much does he make in regular pay? 600.
$10.
610.
Okay.
I don't know what that number is.
Perfect.
I didn't-
Okay. So we got that? Everybody's okay so far? All right, now, he has 15 hours of overtime. And his overtime pay is 1.5 of what his regular pay is. So you could actually calculate that. You could find out by taking 1525, taking half of it and then adding it on. You could take 1525, which is what I'm going to do, and times it by 1.5, because that would be 150%. That's what time and a half means. You get 100% of your salary plus 50% of your salary. So remember we just did the question where it was 2% as his bonus? Now he gets 50% as his bonus, basically on his overtime pay. So to figure out what his overtime is, I go 15.25 per hour times 1.5 is his rate times 15 hours. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right? That's the only other way that they'll work with, usually with your salary, wages, and overtime. So how do we make out here? 15.25 times 1.5 times 15.
Well, I got the answer, but I times it by, or added 610 after. So I guess it'd be,
You got 243.
so 343.
343.13,
0.13
and then you added that on.
to us is
Alright.
10.
Okay, so then that would give me 953.13.
Yeah.
That's my answer. Okay? Pretty straightforward. All right. Any other questions with that? Okay, so yesterday we corrected 1.1. Were there any questions in 1.1 that you think we were pretty good? We got to the end of, I think page 5 was pretty easy, was it not?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right, you have the rest of today to work on 1.2 and 1.3 then. And that's what we'll try and get done for Monday. Okay?
Just to the end of 1.3.
Yeah.
I'm actually a page away, 2 pages. Can I put that in the lesson?
You can.